So I don't remember who introduced me to the moomins. Also, I apologize. I have fangs in because it completes the creature look. I also only have one glove on so I can do the thing with the scripts. But anyway, I don't remember who introduced me to the moomins, but if you showed 4-year-old me a picture of Moomin and asked me who it was, I could answer despite never seeing the show. Eventually I found a playlist of the Moomins in order, all in English, so I finally got to watch. But before the Moomins were a show, they started off as a series of children's books and comics created from 1945 until the early 90s in Finland. The stories revolved around the Moomin family, a type of adorable trolls that look like little white hippos, but don't call them hippos or else they'll get offended, and their adventures in Moomin Valley. The Moomins have been adapted into TV and film dozens and dozens of times. The most popular one is the 1990s anime The Moomins, or Adventures from Moomin Valley, which is the one I was watching. Adventures from Moomin Valley has 78 episodes. The show itself, there is no big overarching story or anything, but there is tons of continuity that you need to watch in order from episode 1 to understand what's going on, because there are some characters who get introduced later and do reoccur every once in a while. We do learn things about our main cast of characters that are important later. Sometimes the Moomin's little adventures take 4 episodes to finish. So yeah, you need to watch it in order despite there not being a big overarching story. Moving on to the art style, I love it. I love hand-drawn cell animation. I don't know why. I just think it's the best. I think it's just the best thing, and I wish more movies and shows could be made this way, or at least make them 2D again instead of making everything CGI, because not everything looks good in CGI. The Moomins, for example. In 2019, the Moomins got the CGI treatment, and I haven't seen an episode from the CGI 2019 Moomins, but I have seen pictures of them looking CGI, and yeah, they look better hand-drawn. Something about the soft, earthy, nature-y color palette, the watercolor style and tone of the Moomins, it's very cute and very relaxing. I wish I could live in Moomin Valley. I'd not have to worry about anything. The whole style and tone reminds me so much of Studio Ghibli, just with how well detailed and calming everything is. Nowadays, movies and shows are all about, action and suspense and anything to grab your attention, while Studio Ghibli does have some action scenes, like in Spirited Away, when No Face is chasing Chihiro through the bathhouse, or in Kiki's Delivery Service at the very end, where her friend's lifted into the air and she has to ride the broomstick up to get him down. But that's one suspenseful moment in a rather calm movie, because Kiki going grocery shopping, it's very calm. Her walking around exploring the city, it's very calm. Chihiro's famous train scene sitting next to No Face, it's very calm. And all the Studio Ghibli movies I've seen all have some calming nature thing about them, with usually one, maybe two action scenes. And then if you compare that to your average superhero movie where you have to fight this guy, and then you gotta fight this guy, and then the bad guy's goons, and then finally the bad guy, only to realize, wait, that's not the real bad guy, then who is? find out in the sequel coming out next year. Hope you like suspense. Studio Ghibli and the Moomins don't do that. Even when the Moomins go on their little adventures, there is no like suspense or action. They're just cute characters doing cute character things like Animal Crossing. Everyone talks in such a calm tone, especially Moomin Mama and Snufkin. I love his voice. He's who inspired today's outfit, obviously. Moving on to the characters, Moomin himself is young and wants to go on adventures and travel like his friend Snufkin, but is very young and is not ready yet. Snufkin, on the other hand, likes to travel and leaves Moomin Valley before winter and comes back every spring. He usually knows what to do when Moomin needs help or wants advice with something. He likes to be alone and works well in only small groups of people. He doesn't like large crowds. Moomin Mama is full of unconditional love and knows how to keep everyone calm, even Moomin Papa, who used to go on adventures but eventually settled down and had Moomin and now writes little stories. There's little Mai, who is a loud, chaotic toddler / young child. There's Sniff, the worried, anxiety-ridden, kinda greedy one of the group. Snork Maiden, who has a crush on Moomin. She's not in a whole lot of episodes, but yeah, she likes romance and has a crush on Moomin and likes jewelry and things. All these characters work well with each other and give off a found family trope, which I love. I love found families. I wish I could have been able to be a part of one. Nowadays we see found families everywhere, you know, the Owl House, Amphibia, Adventure Time, the Misadventures of Flapjack, Steven Universe, Chowder, kinda. But like way back in the 40s when this was made, when the stories were first being made, it was considered weird or strange to not have a stereotypical nuclear family, you know, mom, dad, brother, sister, sometimes a pet usually being a dog. This is why Mrs. Frillyjoink, I think I'm pronouncing her name right, she moves next door to the Moomins, reacted to Little Mai the way she did, because Little Mai, she's not human. Nobody in Moomin Valley is human. There's the Moomin trolls, and then she's like some kind of fairy, fae type creature, but she's very humanoid looking. She looks like a little girl. But anyway, and then the Moomins look like hippos, and that's why Miss Frillyjoink, the neighbor who ends up moving next door to the Moomins later in the season, her reaction was, she said that Little Mai didn't look like any, talking to Moomin Mama, she said that she didn't look like any of them. Yeah, she said that she looked at Little Mai and looked at Moomin Mama and said she doesn't look like any of you, because the found family trope was very odd at the time. Yeah, because Moomin is Moomin Mama and Papa's bio baby, with Little Mai basically being unofficially adopted by the Moomins, while Sniff technically lives on his own. Relies on the Moomins quite a bit, kind of like a young adult who moves out. Kind of like a young adult that's moved out for the first time and has no idea what they're doing or how to take care of themselves, so they have to they don't know what they're doing. Then you have Snufkin, who's on the opposite end of that, who's been on his own for a while and just comes to visit. And then, you have Snork Maiden, who lives with her brother and visits as often as she can. And the likability of the show doesn't just come from the characters, but also the world around them. This world is so much like ours. You think it could be real, but then it also canonly has mermaids, dragons, man-eating sentient plants with eyes, and many other made-up creatures. There is no school or process you have to go through so you can be the greatest whatever of all time, like a lot of, magical fantasy stories. Nobody has or needs a job unless you want one, like the policeman we see a few times. It's free from the pressures of real world society where you have to go to work, get money just to give that money right back, because everything costs money, from the water you drink to the land your house is on. The moomins is a type of escapism. The moomins are just living their life in peace with no pressure. Fishing, sailing, mushroom picking, getting into trouble, but not too much trouble. It's very Animal Crossing. Um, yeah, it's like if somebody took Animal Crossing, Studio Ghibli, and mashed them together. So if you're looking for a cute, naturey escapism from the world, then the moomins are right for you. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.